Hello and welcome to my new channel, Nightglow Manufacturing. I wanted to do a quick introduction to this upcoming video, The Need for Change. I want you to understand that this channel is about creating the eco-consumer, you, and training you as to why you need to be one. It's about opening the market for my business, Nightglow Manufacturing, as a model that can be taught to other businesses. My intention here is to create a learning environment. That's my intention. I know that a lot of what I'm going to say on this channel is going to be controversial. I'm going to cop a lot of flack in the comments, but I want you to comment. I want you to like and subscribe to these videos and to share them, because I've got a limited amount of time and I don't know what that is yet, but we got to get the message out and we got to get my company up and running. And I'm in a world where it doesn't forgive. We're an unforgiving society. We don't make it easy to get up off the mat after you've been knocked down a bit. Well, I've been knocked down a lot, so I'm out here swinging. I'm trying to educate people as to why I've even bothered to start this. I want you to take notice of what I'm saying in this video. I'm supporting it with very thin evidence, but I think that if you can find other examples of pollution that are available, by all means put a comment up and post a link to it in the comments below. Now, in the description, I'm going to put a link to my Facebook page. I've got a public forum Facebook page where I'm putting up what we're trying to achieve. We're in startup, so nothing's written in concrete at the moment. It's all kind of fluid and developing as and when I've got the funds to afford them. Now, one of those things is my website, nightglowmanufacturing.com. It's not there yet. I just don't have the funds to get that up at the moment. But I'm putting that together. I'm putting together the Facebook page in the interim, so you're more than welcome to go there and leave a comment. But in the interim, I want you to understand why it is that I'm even in here swinging. So I want you to open up your mind a bit and listen to what I've got to say in this next video, The Need for Change. Righto. Now, as usual, everything I say on these videos is well-intentioned advice, except no liabilities whatsoever for anything that's going on. I mean, I can't afford to anyway, because you know, good luck. There's nothing left. It's all gone. Okay, sit back and enjoy the video, and don't forget to subscribe at the bottom, and leave a comment and share the video and like and subscribe and all the good things that make this. We'll see what we can do about getting a society of eco-consumers out there to support eco-manufacturers like Nightglow Manufacturing. Thanks for tuning in. That said, I've always had this this discipline of looking after what I have. One of the things I have is something that we all have, and that's the planet. And for a long time, I've wanted to be involved in ideas that save the planet. And my ethos is that I have a son, and I want to set an example for him to teach. And if I can teach you guys, and you guys can teach your guys, and we have something that is a legacy that, you know, it outlives me for certain. I've got a marked number of days. I don't know what's going on with me. but I've got a marked number of days, and I need to leave a legacy that supports my family and also supports my ideals. So I've started this company. When I say company, it's actually a business. It's only me. So I started this business called Night Glow Manufacturing, and the idea and principles behind Night Glow Manufacturing are that we are an eco manufacturer and we are promoting an eco society. So let's talk about why. I'm just setting up to record this. Just give me a sec. Okay, so we're talking about why. What you're seeing here on the screen is a floating island of trash, which exists off Honduras. It's a poor nation. They don't have the resource to fix this. And we're in a position where this has now become a world or a global problem, because this thing's floating around, and there are similar things to this floating around, which one day, after we've worked all our lives to get some beachfront property, we're going to open the curtains, and this is the sight that's going to greet us, this wonderful mess. My feeling is that there's no need for any of this. We can change the way we do things and eliminate a lot of the stuff that you see here. I can see plastic, I can see timber, I can see all sorts of bits and pieces of flotsam in amongst this, but mostly it's timber and plastic, and that's the stuff that floats. Imagine the stuff that sank to the bottom. Yeah. Alright, so I picked on one isolated example, but there are more of them, and that's just what's on water. What about what's on land, what's under the land, what's everywhere else? So as a society, we have to educate the young people, because they're the most impressionable and they're the ones we can reach. People in my generation, we're apathetic. For the most part, we just want to get on with it, and as long as it's not costing us too much money, we get on with it. And when it costs us too much money, we'll stand up and have a good whinge about it. So let's talk about the true cost. Money's a cost, right? Money is a cost, but there are other costs, right? Let's think about it. I know that a lot of the guys are into this drift car stuff, right? They spend every cent they have. Now, as a young bloke, I spent every cent I had on a car. I did that, and I built a Ford Escort panel van into something that was pretty schmick. And I think about a week after I laid my last spanner on it, I wrapped it around a light post and ended up head over heels in debt, because I couldn't have, the insurance paid out a fraction of what the car was worth, and I'd been put into the lamppost by another driver, and basically I had to sue that driver for the recovery cost of the vehicle, so that I wasn't head over heels, and that took time, and in the interim I struggled, and it was bad, and that was when I was 17, 18. It also put me in hospital, so that was another thing. But the point was, that vehicle, it cost me a lot. It cost a lot to run it. It was expensive on fuel. It was loud. It was polluting the atmosphere like you wouldn't believe. And it used to chew gas like, yeah. And you'd think I'd get wise after that, but no, I had a series of gas-guzzling vehicles up until I was about 25, and woke up and saw the wisdom of buying cheaper vehicles that didn't chew as much fuel. Right now I drive a motorbike, a 50cc motorbike, that cost me $3 a week to run, and he does pollute. I'll give you, he pollutes. But interestingly, I can't show it to you from here, but if you look out on my balcony, there's a bunch of plants. And those plants more than offset the carbon emissions that motorbike makes. Plus they also feed us. So there's actually a veggie garden out there on our balcony of our unit. We grow our own tomatoes, and think we've got carrots and potatoes in at the moment. So we have a little veggie garden out there that not only does it give back to the atmosphere, it feeds us. So, you know, we're offsetting. I believe in offsetting our carbon emissions, but I believe more so in not creating the carbon emissions. And one of my big goals is to convert Zoomy to an electric motorbike with an electric motor, or with a hybrid motor with a steam engine in it. I have a design in mind for that, and that's something I'm going to start to develop and put a series of videos up on as and when I can afford to. Right now I can't even afford to live. I'm growing my own food on the balcony. So, where are we up to? I want to talk to you about Nyclo manufacturing. Every spare cent I've got, I've poured into this business to get it going. The reason the business is expensive is because I've decided to make it an eco business, which means that not only do I have to have a zero pollution goal, I have to buy from suppliers that also have a zero pollution goal. So initially, the cost of every raw component that goes into my lights is higher because people are buying carbon offsets and people are manufacturing using processes that are not cheap, but they sustain the planet. They're sustainable processes. So let's talk about the product. Let's try to show you. I'm just going to pause this. Yeah, so when I said pause, I meant stop. Okay, here is my prototype product. It's called the NGEM. Now, there's a couple of things about this. It uses a 3-volt button cell, which I can recycle. The button cells, I can completely tear them down and recycle them. I can recover the chemical inside and make new button cells out of them. Can be done. You can reactivate these particular button cells if they're not too far gone, but if they are too far gone, you can recover everything that's in them. Every component in my NGEM is recyclable. Every single component in there, right? So if it comes back damaged, I can take everything that's there, including this plastic shroud, and recycle it. You know, everything is recycled. There's a button, there's electrical components. I can actually put every component of that back through my process and make it into a new component. These boards are obsolete. Everything on this is obsolete now. This was my first prototype, so everything that you're looking at is obsolete. I can't show you the production prototype just yet, but I have an aluminium PCB made from recycled aluminium. I have eco-manufactured components, and basically what this is, it's a little glow in the light, glow in the dark night light that you can put on the edges of pathways and things, and it's smart. It has a processor here, so it turns on automatically at night when it gets dark, and it turns off automatically when it gets light enough. And you can set it with this little button here to blink if you want it blinking, slow blink, fast blink, on all the time when it comes on. That's your choice, but it's a set and forget unit. You literally zip tie it to a rock or a post or whatever, and it's a marker light, and it just glows bright enough that you can see that obstacle in the dark. That's my product. Now, you might think that that's easy. Well, yeah, it is, but it's not. This prototype is now 6 months old. The original prototype is 4 years old. The original concept is 8 years old, give or take a year. And it's probably older than that if you go back to my original idea. So this video is about building a sustainable business model that I can teach to other manufacturers. That's my goal with making these videos. And I want to talk to you about the budgeting side of the business. I want to talk to you about the people, the community, and how you put your business together so that you've got a zero pollution. Your goal has to be zero pollution, right? Everything that you put out there has to be recyclable in some way. Even my packaging is an untreated piece of bamboo paper, which is sterilized by putting it through X-ray machines and God knows what. But I buy it sterilized, and then I put a cornstarch solution to glue the seams of my package together. So I wrap the package, a bit of cornstarch glue, and off it goes. Everything in that package, if I get it back 10 years from now as a bunch of broken bits, I can recycle everything that's within the contents of what I sent out. Everything, every single piece of it. Now, to come up with that required a lot of thought and research, and I'm now 6 months into that research, and I'm starting to get to a manufacture point. The manufacturing plant is hooked up to solar panels. It's completely off-grid. So we manufacture during business hours. There's no reason to run the plant after dark, so it shuts down for maintenance. We maintain it using environmentally safe processes. Anything that's like metal shavings, they're all swept up and recycled back through the plant. So we can actually melt down our scrap aluminium and recycle it, make it into new sheet for putting back through the machine. We do have a crucible furnace that melts that stuff down, and yes, it does pollute, and we have carbon offsets for that. There is no alternative to that. So we buy carbon offsets. So when we use it, we carbon offset, and there's simply no alternative. But we treat our exhaust. It doesn't just go into the atmosphere. Our exhaust goes through treatment before it goes into the atmosphere. So there are no heavy metal pollutants in our exhaust from that furnace, none. So, and we test that to make sure that we're clean, and we clean our filters and we clean everything. So we do our maintenance quite thoroughly and rigorously. The carbon that comes down, we're looking for ways to reutilize that. It's possible we can utilize it within a paint. It can be used to as a dye or a paint within a resin. So that's something that we're looking at to see whether we can even use the waste out of the filters. So we're looking at all this stuff, but for the moment what we're doing is we're buying the carbon offset, so we can tell you exactly what carbon we've created, and we can go out and make sure that we're offsetting that cost with carbon offset. I can tell you that it's extremely small. In fact, it's probably less than what I put out when I ride Zoomy. Okay, it's extremely small, and it's efficient because we're running off energy sources that are renewable. We don't have a gas-powered furnace. We have an electrically powered one, and that's as good as we can make it. But when we run that thing, we drain our battery store, we drain it. So we've got to make sure that we've got a nice fine day that we can replenish our battery store, that we can recover. We've used up the available space for solar panels, so otherwise we'd put more. We'd have as many solar panels as it takes to run our plant, but we have to make decisions about what to run and when. And that's part of our business operation, it's part of our planning. So, how do you overcome the problems? Well, the answer is you have to have a solid plan. You have to have what I call agile processes, which are adaptable within your operation. So let's talk about the aspects of it. First and foremost is safety, right? You must be safe. Everything we do is accredited standard, best practice. Those things are very easy to implement, but they're very expensive. And all of this expense has to be recovered in your sale price. So you've got to think about that. It's like you're going out to the marketplace and saying, well, listen, you guys are demanding we get eco-friendly. We've done that. We've gotten eco-friendly. But now you're saying that we're too expensive. Well, you can't compete in the marketplace on price. You can't do that. You're not out there to compete on price. That's a given. So you can take it for granted that whatever you're going to produce that's eco-friendly, someone's going to knock you off. They're not going to care about the environment, and they're going to sell it for a fraction of what you can produce it for. And it's going to hurt your business. So you have to plan for that. You have to build into your business plan some method of getting past that hit to your customer base, because some of your customer base will definitely go there. We see it all the time. We go into organisations, you know, we've got a situation with a caravan light. The guy said, can you make this for me? And I said, yeah, no problem. And we designed it. We put, I don't know, 2 months into the design. There were trips up to the North Coast and back. And Cole did all that, took it on himself to do that. And it was a mate of his, in fact, that had asked him to do it. And he got to the end product and he said, yep, that looks exactly what I want. How much to make one? And so Cole told him, and he went, oh my God, you know, well, based on 1,000 production units, that's the cost. And the guy, oh, that's too expensive, I'll take it to China. All that work, and the guy just went, no, I don't want it, go away, and didn't want to pay anything. Just, no, thanks for designing all that, and I'm just going to take all that to China. That was his mentality. This was a friend of Cole's. Well, I got involved in it, and I said, mate, send him a bill. Send him a bill for $5,000. You know, but make him aware that everything has a cost to it. You designed that thing. It's sustainable. It's eco-friendly. Everything about that we can produce in an eco-friendly manner. And we said that to the guy going in. You know, he was aware that the cost would not be a cheap unit. It would be a premium unit, you know, with respect to the environment. And you know, and he's gone, no, it's too expensive. My people won't put that in, and I'm going to China with it. Well, okay, this is what you're going to run into. It's a brick wall. It is. And you can run into that, or you can educate your customer up front. I've chosen the latter method. I've chosen an education path. I've chosen to say to people, well, look, I'm out here swinging. You know, I'm going to keep on swinging. You guys are demanding pollution free. You're demanding, well, that comes with a cost. You can't do that in China because they don't give a shit. They're out there producing things as cheaply as they possibly can. And there's a cost to that. And the cost in China is that I noticed that China has stopped importing recycled waste. They've stopped it. They've said, no, we're not taking recyclable waste anymore. We're not doing it. There's got to be a reason for that. And the answer might be that they've got too much of their own waste to deal with. Righto, so let's talk about the next bit. Where do you start? Well, you start with your idea. You start with something that you want to make, right? And then you go out and you research every single one of the bits that go into your prototype, and you work out whether you can find an eco-sustainable production supplier for every one of those bits. What method can you employ? And you've got to have a strategy for every component. So you've got to have a bill of materials, every piece that's on this, including the solder, right? Don't forget the solder. Solder's important. Everything that's on there goes into your bill of materials. And then you're looking for, how can I sustainably source this? And for each component, you set up a process of research, available suppliers, research the supplier, look at their pollution record, and say, no, that supplier's no good, that one's no good. Okay, this guy's got a better record. Can we go talk to him? Can we talk about what we're doing? Can we give him some help? And you might be training him. Okay? You also got to make it very clear you don't want any plastic packaging. Your package can come quite happily in a cardboard box. Thank you. I have that in a cardboard box. I can recycle the cardboard. I've got no problem with that. You don't want anything involved in this process that you can't recycle. Copy. So this is my introduction video for night glow manufacturing, and I hope you've enjoyed it. In the next video I'm going to talk about my product, and I'm going to talk about why it's an eco product and why you should put this into your business, as opposed to what's commercially available right now for cheap. Let's talk about that in this next video. Thank you for watching. Keep on swinging, you eco warriors. And I'm going to call you eco. Look, we live in an eco society, all right? So hashtag eco society, hashtag eco manufacturer, me, hashtag eco consumer, you. Right, that's our eco society. Let's get it going. Check out my Facebook page. Look for Night Glow Manufacturing on Facebook. We'll be putting this channel up, YouTube channel, Night Glow Manufacturing. We want to make sure that we gain your attention, that we're educating you, we're doing outreach, so we're teaching kids, we're going into the schools and we're teaching the kids. We're doing what we can to make people aware that if we don't change now, remember that plastic bag thing? Yeah. You're going to open the curtains, it's going to be out there. It's just a matter of time. Righto, keep swinging at it. Become an eco-consumer and support eco-manufacturing. Vote with your wallet, right? Make the choice to take the responsible economic step, the social, the eco step. If you vote with your wallet, you put all these cheap manufacturers out of business, and that would be brilliant. From my way of speaking, if we could put China out of business, right, we should be able to do that, because you'd be supporting your local manufacturers, you'd be supporting local jobs, you support your local community. Everybody in your community benefits from that, right? Because your kids don't have to pay the cost of China and India and wherever putting their pollution into the ocean and into the ground. That's the message. Support eco manufacturing where you see it. If you find yourself a product that you can support, do it, because those guys, they're out there swinging like me, right? And I'm trying to show other manufacturers how to be eco. Right, swing at it, keep going. I got an uphill battle. I've got no doubt that people are going to criticise this. There's going to be comments up the yin yang. You know, how dare you criticise China? They do a good job. Well, they do a good job, okay, except they don't. They don't do a good job of managing the environment. And nor does India, and nor does Pakistan, and nor do any of these other places that manufacture for cheap. They manufacture for cheap because A, the labour's cheap, and B, they don't care about what they do to throw in the ground. They just throw it in the ground and bury it. And one day your kids are going to be digging that up, right? And there's going to be a problem. Your descendants are going to be digging that up one day, or dealing with the consequences of what leached down into the earth. And it's not going to be good. So we need to change, and we need to change now. Keep swinging. I'll see you at the next video.